Just final quick question. Saturday night, potentially could be opponent for Billy if Billy comes through against Willie Monroe, Canelo, Golovkin. Everyone I speak to is split. This is probably one of the closest fights where I speak to people there. Everyone says Golovkin or Canelo. What's your take on the fight and how do you see it ending?
You know, to be honest, I watched a little bit of Canelo when he boxed Ryan Rhodes, or when he trained for Ryan Rhodes, when he boxed Amir Khan, because I'd got a direct interest in that. I've seen a couple of Canelo's fights. Golovkin, obviously, when he boxed Kell, I watched a lot of him. It's good. I think the deciding factor is going to be Golovkin's age. Has he still got the desire and drive, and has Canelo, you know, blown up too much in between fights? You know, people are talking about him coming up to middleweight. He's not. He's never coming up to middleweight. He's not a small guy. He's coming down. He's probably coming down from a higher weight than what Golovkin is. And I think Golovkin, as the older guy, will have kept himself closer to the fighting weight. He's probably walked around maybe just above 12 stone, maybe 12.4, because he knows the extra pounds at that age can be a killer. They can be a deciding factor. So I think he'll have kept himself somewhere in shape. Whereas, you know, I don't think Canelo does. I think he blows up. I think he crashes weight. Billy Joe said to me, it looks like he's overtrained a bit. Maybe he has. We'll only know on the night. So
pick a winner.
If I was pushed to pick, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo won, but I still think Golovkin's going to edge it on points somewhere down the line. Maybe a controversial decision, but on points.
You obviously fought Golovkin via Brook. Billy comes through on Saturday night. Who would you prefer Billy to fight out of the two?
Golovkin.
Because
he's the older guy. He's going to catch up with him at some point. He's had, you know, look, whichever way you look at the fight, Kell Brook gave him. He's in with some heavy shots. I always remember saying they were going to beat Kell Brook easy. Boxing in November that same year. They didn't. They waited till the next year. Then his next showing against Jacobs, it was a difficult fight. Jacobs, for me, boxed very well. Didn't do enough. I think Golovkin did win that fight, but time's not on his side, and you can't stop that clock. Eventually, he just hit. You know, Mayweather wasn't the fighter he was 2 years out, you know, from when he retired. Time always catches up with you, no matter what. No matter how much you train, you know, you start to slow, you start to age. You can't compete with the younger people. So, I think for me, you know, Billy Joe against Golovkin, and I think Golovkin probably wants to unify it. I think he wants to finish his career with all the belts. You know, Bernard Hopkins did it, probably the last guy to do it. He had all the belts, and I think, you know, when the dust settles on somebody's career, look at Joe Calzaghe, what a fantastic fighter, but who talks about Joe Calzaghe these days? Nobody talks about him. You've got to have something, you've got to have a legacy when you finish. People are going to talk about Floyd, you know, his record, who he beat, even though the last fight, you know, wasn't a boxing match, but it was fantastic for the people who like to see combat sports. Yeah, it might have not been the big boxing thing, but for me,
watch it?
Yeah, I didn't get up and watch it. I watched it afterwards because I was on camp. I'm not going to do that, but I don't think it did boxing any harm. I think it brought other people into the game from both sides, from, you know, UFC and boxing, casual fans, and I think it'll have, you know, stoked the fire for more interest. And I don't think he did himself, you know, a disservice, McGregor. I think he did exceptionally well for what he did. You know, he went out on his shield, he got stopped, he didn't complain, and you know, fair play to him.
Dom, thank you, my man, for a few moments of your precious time. I know it's lunchtime now because Greg's hungry. He just saw my lunch and he goes, I wish I could just eat that now. I said, no, I prepared that this morning, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow at the weigh-in.
No problem.
Dominic Ingle for FightHype.com. Thank you very much.
All right.